Yeah. I think we're live, ladies. All right. This is a chance for all of us to go share.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go blink
If
for a
we can.
second.
Let's share, so that your peoples can watch. Let me see if I can. Yep. Yep. Y'all can just share. Go to my page, share. Renelle is saying she's trying to get on.
Yeah, I keep saying that.
See her on here. Okay, y'all. Look, Nicole.
Yes.
Hey, you got your water. I'm so proud of you. Look at you. I didn't even have to ask. See? Look.
And I've been drinking it too, so it ain't full. So it's about right here.
See. You done put a dent in it already. Come on, then, hydration. Come on, hydration.
Nurture you. Got to nurture you. Look who we got here. Renelle is joining the party.
Hey.
Hola, everyone.
Hello.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining this live tonight. It's like a reunion for us because we haven't seen each other since March 22nd. And so this is our first time looking at each other's eyeballs and just being in each other's presence for real since then. And so we're excited to be here. And we're going to recap the Nurture You Summit, which we haven't even talked about it, y'all. We haven't even discussed this since March 22nd. So this is going to be fresh off the dome. Everybody's just pulling it back from the back of their mind back to the front. I don't got to reach too far because it's still very, very fresh for me from March 22nd. And so we're also going to acknowledge that it's Mental Health Awareness Month and Mental Health Awareness Week now. And we have 2 licensed professionals on the line tonight. And I got a master's or whatever in the field, so I know a little bit, we got the master capacity coach on here tonight, and we have the come on, everybody say the Elijah Mayo that's online with us tonight.
All right.
Who is going to share with us tonight? When I tell you, I'm just going to jump right in right here just because we already put the big V on the front of Elijah's name, because the way Elijah and that team brought worship at Nurture You Summit,
listen,
let's just start with start. Let's just start with start.
It was so good.
My gosh.
Man, so
but
good.
to be fair, you opened us up.
Well,
all right.
Amen.
You set the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Amen.
We just walked right on in.
Listen, if I can't do nothing in my life, that's one thing I would say that the Lord has gifted me to do. Is that for sure. But I'm telling you, right behind that moment, there was just worship was supposed to be 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I think worship was like 45 minutes to an hour. Like we was going for, it was carrying on.
And it still wasn't enough.
It wasn't.
Right. nobody wanted it to be over.
Mhm.
It was just like, can we just stay right here for the
Right.
remainder of the time? Like,
Please.
so with that being said, Miss Elasia, people are desiring the atmosphere. Just putting it out there. Putting it out there. Putting it out there just for you. People are desiring the atmosphere. So, well, let's talk about Music Healing Lab and what's coming down the pipe for Music Healing Lab, as well as your experience with Nurture You Summit. You can wrap those two together. Let's chat.
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I feel like I don't have no minutes, but I just want to make sure y'all can hear me. Make sure. So who Nurture You Summit 2025, the inaugural Nurture You Summit 2025. It was amazing. You just had to be in the room. Like it was one of those types of events. And I don't even want to call it an event. I would like to call it an encounter because it was truly an encounter with the Lord. Like he was there, he was present, he moved, he touched hearts,
Yes.
healed hearts. I think he exposed and brought up some things and people that they probably haven't touched in years.
Mhm.
And
I know for
so
sure.
it was amazing. And I think for the worship part, I really wish we had more of it like throughout the day, honestly. Um, because that hour, what we wanted it to be 15 to 30 minutes. Ideally, we're like, yeah, we'll only be 15 minutes, like 30, maybe it was 30, but it just wasn't enough. And so, but I'm grateful for what we got to experience in the moment. I'll say that. It was amazing. And like I said in the beginning, you ushered us right into the presence of the Lord. And so thank you to the Monique for being a prayer warrior, for being an exalter, all the things. Like you set us up for success.
Yeah.
So um that was good. And then I guess Music Healing Lab, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And what I've been focusing on with that is learning different ways to regulate the nervous system with music, because it isn't just about music or listening to music, but there are different ways. Like one thing that I thought about the other day is it's so like freeing to get in your car, to turn on your favorite song and blast it and scream and cry and do whatever you got to do, and when it's over it's just like, oh, I do feel a little bit better. It doesn't have to be like really deep. So it's been really fun, like exploring like how music really affects and helps regulate our nervous system. So that's been the focus for the month. I have been talking about planning some worship nights. So that is coming down the funnel as well. So y'all just stay tuned about that. With that, we'll see. We'll have some dates soon. And yeah, is that all you asked me? I feel like I've been talking for a very long time.
You haven't. You haven't been talking for a real long time. But yes, that is what I asked. But I want not just for us to be expecting Music Healing Labs worship nights, but for us to be knocking on Elasia's phone to say, where is the worship night?
Mhm.
Where is the worship night? And
It's going to my
there you go.
community.
Pass it on. Yes.
That's fair.
Where is the worship night? Like we need the worship night.
I would like to
Because
just say that it's moving. Like I actually had a meeting today,
come on.
talking, connecting. So it's coming. We are making strides. Like it's actually gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And it's not gonna be like a one-time thing. Like this is something, an experience that I'm looking to have just in the area
Yeah.
regularly. Not just like, oh, let's come together for one worship night and then go our ways and don't see each other for until next year. No, I'm looking for this to be a thing that's just gonna be regular. I know people are desiring it. And so I want to create that space for people to come and be able to worship Jesus freely and with community too. That's really like the biggest thing. Like we were not meant to do life alone, even worship. And so what does the Bible say? We're going to join in with the elders, join in with the angels. Like it is a community thing. And so I'm pretty excited about that.
Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. We excited too. We ready for it. You know, I hop in the car, drive them 9 hours so I could be right there front and center.
Come on.
Hands up. Hands up. I can't say enough about worship. I can't say enough about how you pulled that team together. What people don't know is the musicians and the singers never practiced together until that day. That morning.
Shut your face and keep on talking.
Wow.
That morning was the first time, and I'm talking like minutes before we had our circle prayer downstairs. That was when they walked in. That was the moment that they had to sing together. And that was it.
Wow.
And then they had to do it for us, right? Perform it. So it was, she did all the rehearsals with the singers. And this was your first time, yes, in this capacity, doing something like that. She's led worship, you know, at different places and have sang on worship teams and all that. Even when she was here in Tulsa, but even since she's been back in Indiana, same thing. People have been calling for her to sing at different churches and lead worship at their churches that have awesome worship teams as is, calling for her to lead worship at their churches because she's just as awesome. You know what I'm saying? And so it's been such a beautiful thing. I think they only met twice, 3 times for rehearsal, maybe. Twice. So like they pulled all of those things together in record time. Me scratching my head. I was a little nervous, but they pulled it off, and I am grateful for that. Oh Jesus, what do you mean? Okay. So, but they pulled it off, and not only did they just pull it off, they did an excellent job at doing so, to the point that you all didn't know, like no one would have known that they had just came together. That group was created, and like people didn't know each other. Like it was not like this group came from somewhere all together. Like we pulled people that we knew to just come together and do this. So it worked out really, really well. And I'm just grateful for that. Y'all should be able to share the live now, by the way. It was on private for some reason. I don't know. So thankful for you, Elijah. And I'm excited to hear more about the Music Healing Lab worship nights and what that's going to look like. I'm pretty sure if you let us all know, we'll all be there. So just tell us so we can be in the room to exalt his name together.
Come on.
So tell me, Miss Anicia, because I wanted to save her for last, but we're in the flow now, okay? Because
Don't you start.
Anicia,
don't you start.
Came out the back.
Yeah.
Drug us through.
So unplanned.
I mean, short and small, but mighty. I don't think I've met too many people that's shorter than me. Anicia is little. Okay.
Small but mighty.
She's short and you just wouldn't expect such power to come out of such a small package.
Come on.
So, and I mean, before it, just like really meek and mild, you know, your girl, I'm nervous. I almost told you no. I almost said I'm not doing this, girl. Like I've been avoiding conversing with you because
all the things.
just.
I'm not doing this.
I said, no, wait a minute. I don't understand this.
Listen.
Came in that room and left us all for dead. We were undone from that moment on. Like we couldn't really actually do anything. Like we were just
poured out.
Listen, that was all God.
Oh,
You took
Listen.
us under. Like the fact that we can talk about this almost 2 months later and we're all still full.
I have goosebumps.
This is so real. Anicia,
I
you
did not
talked
think I
about-
could do it.
Oh.
Honestly, because when I said yes, I told you, I'm like, I didn't realize, wait a minute.
Hold on.
My dad's anniversary was I said, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, now let me go ahead and tell her.
Wow.
I can't do this.
Jesus.
It was something like that seriously had to be God, honestly. Because I wasn't expecting to have healing within doing it.
Come
was-
on.
It was honestly, it was all God. I had my stuff wrote down. None of that was said.
Wow.
So I just spoke from what he told me to say. Honestly.
It
And
was so I think the fact that the anniversary was right coming up
mhm.
was an added layer of power to what you delivered.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
I had to seriously depend solely on him.
Mm.
For sure.
Yeah.
I will let me say this. I think we're all mature enough to handle this statement that I'm about to make.
Mhm.
I've gotten so much feedback from so many people
Mhm.
from about Nurture You Summit. Overwhelmingly, they talked about your session. Overwhelmingly.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Your session I want to be clear that there is not one person, even on our feedback cards, was anybody saying like, oh, nobody said they didn't like anything.
Right.
Somebody might have said the food was too spicy or something. But like it wasn't like anything about any person. When I asked who were the speakers specifically, if you could do this again, who would you invite back? Everybody's name came up in every, throughout the whole thing. But overwhelmingly, when I tell you, Anicia, people were like, Anicia, period. Like she is it was just, I think it was your vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the fact that you didn't want to. I think it was like it all just came. It all played a big part in it.
Yeah.
And you came in. There was a girl there who. How do I want to put this? I know for sure she had lost her brother. I'm not sure how long ago, but she said to me that she had been carrying the guilt of losing her brother on her own self. And your session removed that guilt.
Wow.
Do you know how heavy a weight that is to carry? Someone's death?
Right.
Right.
That's heavy.
Mhm.
And your session allowed for her to shake off whatever it is, guilt and shame she had been carrying as a result of the session.
My God.
That God used you to give us.
Wow.
During your session, as I prayed, before we got, as we were planning and getting things together, I asked God to show me who's going to be in the room. Let me hear, something, all the things. And when I tell you, I heard the sound that broke out in that room during your session is the exact sound that I heard in prayer.
Wow.
The exact sound. I didn't know when it was going to happen, didn't know at what point in the day it was going to take place, but that sound
Mhm.
that we had in that moment, I it's not easily forgotten. Like I still can feel
Yeah.
that sound that happened in that room. It was piercing. Like you could
Mhm.
feel that deeply in that room. I mean, yeah. So you came with it, sis.
You did.
Yeah.
Listen, it was honestly, it was the atmosphere. It was the presence.
Mm-hmm.
Like the name that you named, like Nurture You, was perfect
Mhm.
Yeah.
because that's what it truly felt like.
Mhm.
Even while speaking, I was nurturing myself.
Yep.
It was powerful.
Yeah. That's I love God so much
Mm-hmm.
because he will I joke about this. I think I said this to Lay. I'm careful what I name things
Mm-hmm.
because you get the name of stuff and you got to walk through
Come
whatever you
on.
and named a particular baby,
Right.
right? And so, case in point, my actual name, Monique Nicole, means a wise counselor, the voice and victory of the people.
Mm.
Hello.
Come on.
Your
Here we
mama
are.
knew. She knew.
She knew. Mm.
Come on.
Right? So
Wow.
it's that kind of thing. And so when you name a thing, you have to be so careful because you know what you're going hey, you want to
Right.
call this what you want to call it? Warfare and the warfare conference. Well, you can expect
Say, get ready.
with your war clothes on because you calling this the warfare conference and you finna have to endure this
Right.
before you produce this. No,
Right.
thank and you would think that something like Nurture You would come with its sweetness and its
Mm-hmm.
hugs and its no, that didn't come with that either.
Right.
I was challenged to nurture me through up until that day and since,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think I know I'll talk to Nicole and Lay. We still having to walk that out to nurture ourselves. We was doing it up until we were doing our interviews before one-on-one with each other and all those things. Like we've been having to nurture ourselves. When you said yes to Nurture You Summit, you were saying yes to nurturing you,
Right.
right? And so I think that's something to be said even about just the things we connect ourselves to and the things that we
Mm-hmm.
say yes to in this season. We have to be so careful because when we say yes, we're almost coming into agreement or alignment with
Right.
said mission or things like that. And you got to know what you're saying yes to.
That's true.
And I was nurtured in the room too.
Mm-hmm.
I was nurtured in the room too, and I got plenty of tools also to nurture myself after this is over, which brings me to Miss Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you,
Listen. Listen.
Don't make me cry my couple lashes.
Listen.
They gotta last me till Tuesday. Okay.
when I tell you, if there was a runner-up on the overwhelmingly requested people, it was Miss Nicole
Yeah.
Rome. Okay, people are full to the brim
Mm-hmm.
and don't know what to do
Mm-hmm.
no more
Mhm.
or how to make room for the things that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And you came in that room like a wrecking ball and told these people how to get unstuck,
Mm-hmm.
how to move some things around and prioritize, your priorities. You gave us handouts. You gave us baby, puzzles, okay, whatever, whatever we had. All right, because writing down all them lists, I was like, oh, it's a puzzle. I don't know what I need.
We was there to work. It wasn't cute.
Right. Right.
I thought I had it. I don't have it at all.
Funny.
So, you definitely came with a prepared word, a prepared.
Mhm.
It was clear that you knew what you was talking about.
Right. That part.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
know
you
what I
know-
was going to say till I got up there.
We didn't know.
I couldn't tell.
We didn't know.
At all.
Listen.
I was like, God, just tell me what you want me to say. Because when you talk about stuff like that, you know, first of all, but going behind Niecy, like,
What do you do?
I was already having my own moment, because what I shared with you at the table is that you helped me have a similar breakthrough as one of the other young ladies that Monique talked about. I realized that I was not choosing to be not even at peace, but carrying the weight and the sorrow of losing my dad. And that I had a choice to be happy and a choice to live. Not that I haven't been living, but that it was okay for me to feel joy even though he's been gone.
Right.
And I was like, my mind was blown. I cried off all my makeup before I even got up there, because I was like, look here, right? And you talked about how grief comes in, it's not just death. Anticipatory grief. Do you know I've been running around talking about anticipatory grief since that day? I'm like, that sounds like anticipatory grief right there. Yep. I know what that look and feel like.
Yep.
But divorce, just all the different things. And so it was, you know, when I got invited to participate, I was just grateful to be in the space. I didn't know that I was going to get that level of healing in that room.
Listen, same.
I don't think any of us expected that, right? We were prepared to facilitate, right? And to be there and to show up. But we didn't realize, you know, how much we needed that as well. And so
Right.
very moved by, you know, those experiences and what each person, you know, shared that day. And so I just, you know, really took that on. But yeah.
Listen,
It was such a real space.
capacity.
Right.
You opened up and helped me make some room for all of the stuff that I talked about, because I was holding so much in my heart. Those tears literally released so much. And I've continued from that day to continue to do that work. And so, yeah, I just, a time was had.
It was. Listen.
We had a time.
I couldn't stop talking about it.
It definitely was something. It exceeded my expectations. What about you, Leigh?
I really didn't know what to expect, if I'm being 100% honest. Especially when you first asked me if I can come along and collaborate with you. I didn't know what I was getting into, first of all. That's first thing first. But to show up on that day, it's like when we were in that room praying, I was like, oh, the Lord is gonna meet us. He's here already. Like, it's like I felt it in my heart.
Yes.
And he blew all of us away.
Man.
Like, more than I could ask, think, or imagine happened that day. Like, he did what was supposed to be done. And that's why he God.
Listen.
I'll be God.
Okay.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. looking forward to whatever God's gonna do next with Nurture You. I don't know what that is. We have been talking and thinking, planning so many things and just trying to figure out what's next. I don't know. Our connections is doing the thing. Can you still hear me?
I can.
Yes, ma'am.
Now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It says across my screen, oops, lost connection. So I don't know what's happening at this point. I don't even know if that means for me or if that means for
Somebody said drop them
live.
Tulsa dates.
Ah!
You heard us, Mo? Drop them.
Just
Let me
seen
see.
it. Just seen it. Just seen
Clock
it.
it.
So we were talking about this just last week. I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see. Golly, every time I think about it, I just this is the posture I end up in. I just be like, I don't know. I'm definitely I want to see what's gonna come of it and see what that can really look like. I want the same people, and I think that's the real thing that I'm like, okay, what we gonna do? Because I want the same people. I want all y'all there. Like, I want the same speakers. Like, I don't want to change one thing. So, I am just gonna have to see what that's gonna look like. And so, while we're on that topic, let's take a pause from talking about the speakers, and me and Lay, I want us to share the miracles, the absolute miracles that took place to even birth the Nurture You Summit financially. Like, what in the whole world?
Talk about it.
Like, the absolute miracles that took place. We wrote out a raggedy tail budget at the beginning. It was so raggedy, y'all. It was so raggedy. I was like, okay, I think tissue is gonna cost $3. No more. No more. It's not gonna cost $3. More like $30. So you need to prepare yourself. And so we wrote out this makeshift budget, just trying to get it together, and met with a group of sponsors, and I'm sure in their minds was like, child, what these kids trying to do?
Right.
When I tell you, they never said it. They were very, like, we want to help. What can we do? How can we show up? What do you guys need? They were very present with us. They walked us through, like, telling us, okay, so you need to make this price so that you can, at least, if you don't get one dime outside of your ticket sales, it covers the cost of the things that, like, just dropping wisdom on us that we wouldn't have otherwise, like, really known, for it to be our first one of this magnitude. And I've done little events where, Lay came to something I did here in Tulsa last year, I think. Just, nothing on this scale at this point in my life. I think the first time I ever did a conference, I was 19, and my pastor of the church that I went to in East Chicago wrote the check. Like, I didn't have to fundraise. I didn't have to do any of those things. I wrote a proposal. I said, this is what I need. He said, here's the check. So I didn't have to do any of those things. And so to have to get the money ourselves and try to figure out how we're going to pay speakers, pay musicians, pay singers, pay. Christ the Lord. So we was paying, okay? And it was a lot to think about, but the sponsors came through. Like, God really used them to bless us. People was like, yep, We got 1,000. Yep. We got 750. Yep. We got,
Mm.
like, we're not talking about no, oh, we're just going so no. Like people were sewing, okay? To make this event happen. People sold their time to make this event happen. That food that was catered, we did not pay the caterer. We just bought the food.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
She set up all
Yeah.
that stuff because that's my sister, you know. And she said, I want to sew into y'all. If y'all could just buy the food, we'll take care of whatever. I was trying to save every dime I had, you know, left over from my own paycheck to make sure that if nobody sold anything, we'd have enough to buy food at least, right? But God superseded our expectations in that. And so I don't even know how to explain any further how much of a miracle that really was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as we prepare for the next one, like we're starting with a budget that is almost exactly what we needed to put on the first one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so and some people may not agree with what this next statement, but I was instructed to even tithe some into to nurture you out of my own, because if you're not going to support your own baby, then you can't expect nobody else to sow into it either. And so I'm like, God, I just want to be a good steward, you know, over what it is that you placed in our hands to do. And so if I make $1, it can have a dime. Like it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, because I want to make sure that it can continue, you know, to grow. But the fact that our starting budget for the second one is almost to the number, maybe even exceeding by a few dollars, what we projected we would need for the first one, is like, okay, all right. So God really is just blowing our minds with that. Like, did you have anything to add about that?
No, I just was truly blessed by the generosity of people. Like even the decorations, the room, the setup. Sister Sharon from my church, she was like, "Oh, I got y'all.
Yep.
Oh, I got it." She ordered it just people just wanted to help, and I think that is a true testament to what like the vision is. Like if the vision is there and people see it, they're willing to sow, they're willing to help. And even more important than that, if God gives you a vision, trust and believe there's going to be provision. We did not have to come out a dime out of our pockets to put on an event of this magnitude. And I think that was just like the thing that really was just like, okay, Lord, you really wanted this to happen. Cool. And he made it happen. He made it happen through the generosity of people. And I think that's just really cool how we get to be the hands and feet of Jesus, like literally. And so, yeah, it truly blessed me. And I think about the live that we had with Renelle, and even your generosity where you're just like, I think I want to buy a ticket for someone. And then the fact that people just start, bro, let alone, okay, yeah, sponsors, but people who couldn't make it, they bought tickets for people. I was just like, oh my gosh. I cannot believe this. And it yeah. So it was, I don't know. Have y'all just been lost for words? Like it just
shows that how people really wanted this, right? Even though they couldn't be there. And so they were investing, and they saw the potential. They saw, because when I told, like, you know, some older saints about the event, I'm like, this is about faith and mental health. Oh, really? Oh, well, when is it? Well, I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even expect that type of reaction. Like, and so definitely it was just when people ask, like, how was the event? I just paused, be like, yo, like, it was really? I'm like, yes. I'm just like,
Mhm.
took place, and they're just like, oh wow. And yeah, it's just yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And then the
Yeah.
bags, my mom, you know, she sold into this into the summit with
Yeah.
doing the bags. And I don't know, I was just really like blown away by people's generosity, honestly.
Seriously, and
Can
it
I
happened.
tell
It
y'all that the little
it really
journal
touched
that
me.
y'all put in there with the pen is in my purse? My purse is not down here, but it goes everywhere with me. Sometimes I gotta go through this in it. Sometimes I'm, jotting down something that God's dropped in my spirit. But let me tell you something. I'm so grateful.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The pen is
Yeah.
right there
Yeah.
with in my purse everywhere.
Yes. I love that.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think the day that Renelle, when we went live with you, me and Lay that day were like discussing, so much about the event, and even just like feeling a little down because we wasn't sure like just how it was all going to come together and different things like that. And you literally started the influx of donations that
Mhm.
day, honestly. We got that's what we were just on the live, like, what? Like, are you for real? Like, are you kidding? You know, and people just was in the comments like, also,
Mhm.
yeah, how do I do this? Texting us afterwards and things like that. They were really serious about trying to help and just so into the event. And speaking of your segments, let's just jump into that too.
Listen.
Because I think you were right behind Anicia.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, immediately behind Anicia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us about what that was like for you.
Yeah, so I had to pause because, coming behind something that was so I don't even know a word I can use, but something so powerful that is something so healing, right?
Mhm.
And so, I just sat there for a moment, right? Because I'm just in my seat and just tears began to fall. And I'm just like, am I going to just like allow this process? And then I'm like, how am I going to, transition into, something else? And so I know the Lord gave me to, share, what was most vulnerable for me.
Mhm.
And so that was, really something, and I needed that. And just having to share, that part of my life openly, and then, segue into something else. I'm like, all right, y'all, let's just get it pumping, let's get it moving. And you just saw just like the inspiration and motivation in people and their faces, and everybody was ready. And it was just amazing that if y'all could have seen yourselves like from where I was, it was so powerful to see like they move,
Mhm.
like everybody
Yeah.
moving. Everybody's, wanting to go to the next level, all their energy. I'm like, this is great. Like, like it was amazing. So that was a very good experience. And so I have some pictures and some videos that your cousin Tara took. And so, no, somebody at your church took. Yeah,
Twyla.
yeah. And then
Mhm.
Tara did take a video and she sent it to me as well. And just I have those moments that I was able to hold on to, and
Mhm.
just like some of that stuff I posted on my page already. So hopefully I get a chance to post. But yeah, it was amazing.
Mhm.
Loved it. Yeah.
I loved how before, when we were talking about it, when we first asked you to do it and we got on the call and we were talking about what the segments could look like, you were like, typically people don't just they watch you,
Yeah.
you know, watch you do it. But everybody that could get up was up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And moving in
Right,
their
right.
chairs too.
Try not to sweat their hair out. Yeah.
Because the edges I had a little glisten going on around this part right here. And I had just got my perm. I wasn't trying to, sweat it out.
Done cried the makeup off already. Now you want me to sweat the hair out too? Come on, kid. I was like, we'll move the arms in the seat. Yep.
Yeah.
For real.
You was in
For
that
real.
Can I say for me?
That was me all day. Just bouncing. Just
Listen.
bouncing. Okay.
I think the movement piece was helpful and freeing after that powerful experience with Anicia, because you talked about how stuff is trapped inside of you. Yeah, it was a whole release to be able to do that. And then when I fast forward and think to when we did the exercises at the end, oh my goodness, like the pausing, the journaling, just the reflecting, all of it worked so well together. Like, it was so powerful. And I'm so grateful that you were there and helped to guide us through all of those things. Each part was so essential to the healing that took place that day.
It definitely.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
That part at the end, when they came and tapped us on our shoulder, I just wanted to be like this.
Listen.
I said, what the world is going on here?
Right.
Yeah. It felt like, you know, when the preachers be like, and you just want to be like that's how it felt. Like, oh my gosh, touch somebody who was loved. I'm loved, it's me.
And what I loved about that was some people didn't even wait for a tap. Like, who, you know, I don't even know whatever I asked, like, who deserves to be loved? And then someone just like,
yes.
Right.
Eyes were still closed, but they put their hand up, and I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. I really touch each other, like your neighbor, like who, you know, the neighbor, but yes, it's just like, wow, just so, it was so good, so good, so good. I mean, I really couldn't go forth like at the end, like with the grounding movements, but we just floated in the spirit. I'm like, okay, well, we're up in time. I'm like, all right, Lord, how do you want me to do this? I'm just gonna get up, but that song was so ministering. I mean, if you all could again sing your faces while your eyes were closed, for that, talking about how beautiful Jesus is to us, and just, oh yeah.
I wish I could have seen it from the back, like, well, from the front where you were standing, like, to just look at the room. And I try my best to be in the moment with everybody else and not try to like just scan the room all day. But it was very, 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 very powerful to be able to like feel the taps, feel the expression, feel the like, oh my gosh, what? It felt so good to be able to experience that. And it felt like everybody was touched at the time that they needed to be, to like be touched with whatever you were saying, like whatever we might be struggling to feel on our own. Like, that's how it felt for me anyway.
Yeah, that was the intent. Absolutely.
And your mom, like, I just want to pinch her cheeks and like just put her in my pocket. Like, I just love her so much. And I've loved her since I was 14. Like, I just love that woman. She is so incredible. And I can't tell you, and you can relay this message to her, like just how full circle it was for me to have her pray for me at the end. And I didn't have to ask for it. She just said, you come here. I said, that's Auntie Yvonne, baby. That's her. She gonna get you. So, and she used to do that when we were younger too, you know, and just, you know, let it affirm me, you know, as a kid, and just saying like, you have something special, you know, guard the anointing that's on your life. And, you know, and if something wasn't quite white in the milk in my life, she ain't had no problem saying, what's that? You know, like, what is that? Right. You know, get that out of there, because that's going to taint what it is that you're trying to do. Be careful who you connect with, who you're seeing hanging out with.
Come on.
You know what I mean? You know, the groups of young people, you know, that we had around. And so like, she was just like, be careful. Okay.
Yeah.
And so So I feel like she was guarding me then. And then even when I was just a zealous young child, she was quick to tell us we was zealous, and she'll tell us now. But
Yes.
she was just very like authentic and just genuine. I didn't question her motives, or I didn't feel like she was trying to put out my fire, or anything like that. She was just very clear, with us as teenagers. And so when she said, "Come here," and she said, "The Lord is pleased with you," I said, "Oh, you have an agenda. You trying to knock me down." Like, huh? You have a vendetta out against me tonight. Like, you trying to and so, because I just knew I was gonna have to be scraped off the floor after she got through. I was like, "Oh Lord, she's gonna stab me in this ground." Candace was behind me, just holding me up. I said, "Thank you, sis. I'm sliding at this point. I'm going down." And she prayed over me, and it was such a beautiful just moment. And when people speak in tongues, I love it, first of all. But your mama's tongues, yeah, like it does something. It's always done something. It's like it pulls something up, like out of, like I can feel it in my body.
Yeah,
when she prays in the spirit, and like it's like it resonates with me or something. And so I appreciate her so much for covering me at the end, and the other ladies too that surrounded us and covered us at the end and circled around us. It felt good to know that that people cared, enough to see like, no, it matters, and people need to be surrounded after something like this. I didn't feel alone, or anything like that. I just felt surrounded. I didn't have, actual family in the room. I didn't have, my parents weren't there, anything like that. But I never felt alone, like in the room. I was very much, all of y'all's families was there. And it just felt good to have that. So thank her for me.
I sure will.
Let her know that we appreciate that. What's up, Lay?
I don't want you to get too far, but can we talk about your segment? And when you were like, now you can never say that no one has never had your back. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, she got him with this one.
Got him.
Classic. I think your segment was so powerful. First of all, can we talk about how uncomfortable it is to just look at anybody in the eye, probably outside of your significant other?
Listen.
Your significant other for an extended amount of time. These are strangers. You have strangers looking to other strangers' eyes, but
it didn't
in
feel
that
like
moment, I feel like people saw right through.
Really?
Yeah. In that moment, I think that people, it broke some things in people. I did not get to participate in the activity, but just witnessing what was happening, people literally starting to cry. I think at one moment I heard that same cry break out that we heard in the beginning. Like, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Thank you. What's so crazy is that I didn't have that planned. I had a whole nother activity planned.
What?
That was not in the plan. I had those mirrors in those bags. That was for my session. And we didn't even open the mirrors. So yeah, that was not the plan at all.
That's right.
Yeah. We bought the mirror so that we can do a activity with that, and didn't even get to it because Holy Spirit showed me that again. Like I experienced that at the Woman Evolve conference with Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts and Dr. Anita Phillips. got up, and we love her. We love
love
her.
her.
We love her.
Mhm.
She got up, and
We
we
love Dr.
do.
Anita.
And she got up, and that was one of the things she had us to do, was to, hold each other's hands and look at each other's eyes and resist the urge to say anything. And I think it's one thing to be able to look at each other's eyes and see the tears forming, and immediately we just want to go to console and help and ask what's going on, tell me what those tears mean, da, 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 da. But the moment where it's like, I don't want to ask you anything, I just want to hold space for you, I want to just be here with you. And so like that's, I have to say that I experienced that. And it was so powerful. And so when the Lord showed me that in that moment, I was like, oh, then we just gonna grow with it then. We're just gonna grow with it. And
Perfect.
it worked out. Yeah. And then the back-to-back thing, man, I first saw that exercise with Iyanla Van Zandt. Y'all remember her?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I always wanted to be her, but a saved one,
Right.
I don't know if she's a little divided.
Make that clear. Make that clear.
Yeah. I'm not sure which king she bowed to, so I got to be clear about which one I'm about to.
Right.
Okay? So she definitely did the exercise where she stood up back to back with another woman, and it was just like, and she does it so effortlessly. In a lot of her things, she'll just get behind the woman and hold her up while that woman's son is telling her how horrible his childhood was and how you left and abandoned me. But you got somebody holding you up while you stand under that. Like, it's something powerful about that.
Yeah.
And it's another woman, another mother, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We understand innately the woman thing, right? Even if you may not be a mom, but I'm a mom. You may not be this, but but we're women. And there's something about us as women, especially women of color, who embody that strong woman syndrome, and we don't know how to just let the guard down. I can't trust women. I can't trust, all of that.
Right.
But in that moment, it says, no, you can trust. And let's go ahead and remove the excuse that ain't nobody ever had my back, and ain't nobody ever. Now you can't say that. You know what I'm saying? Because now all of a sudden, for one day, for a few minutes, one woman did have your back, quite literally. And so you'll be able to think back on that moment. Every time you get ready to say nobody ever had my back, you'll stop. Ain't nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Ain't that?
Right. Somebody actually did have my back, and I think that that's so powerful, for women to know that somebody sees them, somebody. And I remember that moment coming off the heels of saying that, therapy is really about being seen, right? People think it's about a lot of stuff. I ain't going to no therapist. I ain't going to see no shrink. Anybody going to tell me what they know about, all the things.
Right.
But it's really about being seen, because somebody's sitting across from you, looking at you longer than you looked at yourself probably in a long time.
Right.
We ain't standing in front of a mirror for an hour just looking at ourselves.
That's right.
We don't have a version of us that lives outside of us, watching how we move throughout our lives on a day-to-day basis. We don't have that, but we do have an opportunity to listen. That your mama said the oil on Candace's life is heavy. I will be the one. She the one on the flight on the way here now. Come on, sis. Come on in. Come on. come on in. Because I'm gonna need somebody to have my back when this child walk across that stage. Just stay behind me. Just But I think there's something to be said about somebody being able to look at you for an hour straight and say, so I hear you saying that you don't have, I hear you saying that you don't have, is this man? Oh, it's you again?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
you.
Okay. For somebody to sit, with you and say, I hear you saying that you're not anxious and you don't have nothing going on with you and you good. You just forced to do this. So, trying to save your marriage. And then you can say, but I watched you fidget the entire time you was talking. This is all you did. You was rocking. The entire time you was talking to me, this is all you did.
Right.
And or rubbing your knees, things that we do on a regular basis that nobody gonna call out that you rubbing your knees while you're talking. They just think that's part of your personality.
Right.
But a trained eye can say, no, sweetheart, these are the things that I've noticed in just 50 minutes of knowing you. And these are things that people say it all the time. Nobody's ever told me that about myself before. Nobody's ever mentioned that. I know, Anissa, you can speak to that.
That's true.
Nobody's ever told me that happens. And so having somebody sit across from you and tell you this is the consistent thing that I've heard over the last 3 weeks. There's a thread that you probably ain't even noticing.
The pattern
in your relation. Yes, there's a pattern that nobody's called out. And so I think that there's something to someone looking in your eyes. The example that I like to use, and I'm gonna pass this mic here about this particular topic to you, Anissa, here in a second, so that we can say we talked about mental health, huh? All right. So I think there is something, I use this analogy quite a bit, and I wrote about it in my book about how when you break a bone in your body, the doctor, some people choose to go to the doctor immediately. I done broke this bone. I got to go to the doctor. They got to tell me what's going on. They got to fix it, and I got to ice it and lift it and, all things to get well. And then you have the person who gonna swear it ain't broke. You can't walk.
Right. You
can't walk straight. It's broken. You can't actually do that. You know what I mean? And so and they learn to walk a certain way, and the bone heals off, disjointed. The bone heals off kilter. So yeah, it has healed, but it ain't healed properly. You know what I mean? And so you're walking with a limp, but because it's a limp that you're used to, and nobody's calling you out on this limp, because who's gonna say why you limping? After this is how they met you, you've been doing this for a long time. Maybe anything could be going on. But to the trained person or a person that has been invited into your space, they can ask, have you had that looked at? Are you okay? And then some people will say, no, I'm not, I'm fine. And you have to tell them, if you continue on in this way, it's only going to get worse. You really do need to be seen so that now somebody going to have, because you didn't deal with it at its infancy stage when it first happened and you didn't deal with it properly, we got to re-break it. We got to re-break this bone. We got to reset it. We got to put you in now you got to go through this whole process that you could have went through.
Come on.
Here at the beginning when everybody was telling you it's broken, you need to get it fixed, and you didn't. And now 30 years later, when it's going to rain before the meteorologists tell us, because your knees be hurting. You know what I'm saying? And you be telling us. And so I am that was the point of that moment for me. And so I want Anisi, if you could speak to that even a little bit more, that'd be great.
Okay. I like how you said that, when you don't deal with it, because I always talk about that with my clients. When you don't deal with a situation and you are masking that thing, it's still showing up in different ways. And then what it would do, it will start to splatter on the people around you. It'll show up in your kids.
Mhm.
And then you don't realize that that thing is dealing with you because you haven't dealt with it.
Right.
So people are always trying to, what is it? The easy way out, and that is, oh, I'm strong. Um, it doesn't it doesn't bother me because I don't even think about it. I hear that so much. I don't even think about it. And it's like, what? That's the problem. You haven't even acknowledged that you've been through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you haven't even validate that 10-year-old self, the 12-year-old self, and you just left it there. And a lot of times people don't realize that it really stops your growth. And then when you are up against something that looks like it, you become that 12-year-old person again.
Yeah.
Come on.
Absolutely.
So it's just, honestly, I try to tell everyone around me, you will benefit from going to see a therapist. You will start to realize, oh, wait a minute, that's in my subconscious. I didn't even realize that that was still there.
Yes.
I didn't even realize I was making decisions based on that. Just because you thought, oh, I haven't even brought it up. I haven't even talked about it. I moved on.
Right.
But it's a real thing when you are going through it. Because when you go through it, then you can see the victory of it. But when you're trying to go over it, you're trying to put a blanket over it, move around it, it's still popping up.
So true. That's so true. Renelle, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I missed it all because of technical difficulties. I was going back to my phone to computer. I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all can't. So I missed it. I'm gonna have to watch again on the replay. What was said? I don't know. What did you say?
Can you hear her? Can you hear her now?
Yeah, I can hear. I heard her response. I didn't hear what you said beforehand, but I'll watch it again though. But yeah.
Oh, I was just asking her to speak to the value of therapy and being seen by another person.
Oh, absolutely. Just being acknowledged. When you can acknowledge your feelings, in therapy. Also being validated of what you feel.
Yes.
Being able to have that voice. Because sometimes we could be down on ourselves and thinking, I shouldn't feel this way. But those feelings are natural. They're normal, and so being able to be validated, with that, and like what she said, because we don't think about things, we don't realize that 10-year-old girl is still there. Those traumas that we experience, those things are still trapped in our body and our minds and our thoughts, and that's why we respond to certain things a certain way, why we can't get over certain relationships, or why we can't proceed into a new relationship. And so talk about all those different things in therapy is amazing. And so just being able to have that validation, being acknowledged, acknowledging yourself, giving time for yourself, nurturing yourself, all those, right? And so it's so beneficial. Just like you have to go to the doctor. Somebody brought that up that day. You need to, talk. You need to talk.
I think that there's something to people understanding, and I'm not sure if I communicated this well at the summit, because my mind was going a million miles a minute when I was speaking, but I wanted people to grasp that therapy or mental health doesn't always mean psychiatrist, y'all. Like, I think that people just automatically think, oh, they're going to give me some medicine and tell me I'm like, you don't have to see a psychiatrist unless you need to see a psychiatrist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it'll be your therapist that'll tell you, I think, I'm seeing this pattern, and you can be further evaluated as a result of what I've been seeing. And this is what that will look like. But it doesn't have to go to that. for everybody, for everything. And you have a choice. They're not going to say, you know, most therapists, now some might, but I haven't met any that's like, I won't see you again until you get evaluated. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know if that's ethical to be able to tell somebody I won't see you no more until you get evaluated. But at the same time, like you have that choice, even if they make that recommendation. And if that therapist don't want to see you no more, go to a different one. You know what I mean? Like you can, there's the range, it's a range. You know, there's so many good therapists out there. And like Renelle was saying, if you can get in the space of just allowing somebody to see you for a minute and validate some of the things that you're experiencing, so you're not so down on yourself, hard on yourself, like you'll just show up differently in the world because somebody gets you.
Right.
Yeah.
And therapy will start to feel like self-care and not just a duty or something that you check off your list. Okay, I went to therapy. I got my thought. Like somebody is, and they want to listen to you. They want to, you know, and if it doesn't feel like when I go to therapy, I ain't been in a minute, we going. But when I go to therapy, I sit with my therapist and it feels like I'm talking to my homegirl once a week. Like that's exactly how it feels.
Yes.
That's exactly it. So sis, let me catch you up, because girl, you know, and we just
that is so true.
Yes. And if the therapist is skilled and competent, they'll throw them modalities in there so quick you don't even know what just hit you. But they have a way of putting their cognitive behavioral, DBT, whatever, right on into the session in a way, your solution focus, all that stuff into the session and into the conversation in a way that you don't even know you're being therapized. You don't even know. You don't even know. You know, but they are coming with that information that helps you to unpack the day and make room for like as Nicole would talk about, like it's increasing your capacity because you're putting things in the right spaces and compartmentalizing the way in a healthy way, and not just, you know, putting stuff away to forget about it, but compartmentalizing in a healthy way.
Right.
Listen, you know, I got a couple things to say right quick.
Come
on. Like when I think about it, now I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't claim to be whatsoever. This is my experience. But when you have all those emotions and those thoughts and the traumas and the things, and life is still happening, I see it like this beach ball. If you keep trying to push that beach ball down, eventually it's going to pop back up, right? And you all heard this during the summit. That's part of my story of me being in the hospital because I wasn't managing my mental health. I wasn't managing my stress, right? I also have realized that therapy hasn't just been about dealing and unpacking the dramas or the traumas. It's also been to process current things, right? It's a tool that you can use for maintenance. It doesn't always have to be some big old catastrophe. And the more that we work to clear the mental clutter in our head, clear the stuff that's going on in our heart, we're literally creating the capacity to show up as, you know, not just women of God, but as better moms, as better business owners, as better employees, as better parents, all the betters that you can think of. And so it's so valuable and important for us to make sure that we have those spaces where people can look at us and say, girl, you done fidgeted the whole time, like you said, Monique, right? And so I want us to think about, and I hope that those who are watching this or catching the replay understand you got EAP in most of the places that you work, employee assistance program, where you can try the therapy for free, right? Some companies have 1 session, some have 3, some have 6. But it's a space for you to confidentially find and kind of try before you buy your therapist to find one that fits for you. And I lastly wanted to say that since the summit, and Monique, I shared this with you, I just found a new therapist, right? You all encouraged me to go back, because half the time we talking to ourselves about ourselves, trying to fix ourselves because we so smart, because we got our degrees and we know everything, right? So, but we need professionals to help us. The helper needs help too.
Yep. Yes.
And so, say that again. Say that again.
The helper needs help too.
That's good.
You need help too to get it up out of you so that you can show up and do what God has called you to do. So I'm off my soapbox. That's all I got.
It's whether you're the pastor, the teacher, the mental health professional, the singer, the worship leader, the worship pastor, no matter what capacity you serve in, if you an engineer, if you a mathematician, I don't care what you do. Life's happening to all of us pretty fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're all going through current events. You don't want to talk about what happened when you were 7? Don't. Let's talk about what's going on right now.
Right.
And maybe as you get in, relationship with your therapist, you will inevitably have to talk about the thing that happened when you were 7 that's causing you to walk with a limp at 37. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you'll have built that rapport in such a way with that therapist, and it's safe now, for you to talk about that. And I'm glad you brought that up, Nicole. I wanted you to talk about the HR perspective of mental health, because I think that's something that is very it's hush because we're at work, right? And it's supposed to be confidential, and but I don't know that people realize that that's an option. That's something that, we can sit and talk about our capacity at work and how if we burnt out, we need to do this and that. But what can people actually do? And what steps do they need to take to get there?
My heart is smiling. Of course, my first step is always going to be to reach out to HR to get EAP, right? So that you can see what other resources are available. EAP is 100% confidential. It's 100% free to you and anybody in your household, right? For you to kind of talk through what's going on, and it's per issue at that. Aside from that, a lot of people don't realize that short-term disability covers mental health stuff. So if you need to take some time off so that you can go and get into an intensive outpatient program, an inpatient program, whatever it is that you need, if you need time so that you can regularly go and see your therapist, even if you don't have FMLA, right? If you work for an organization that's too small for that, you still have options. You can ask for, request an accommodation so that you can get the help that you need. And so it starts with you, number one, being aware and saying, I'm not okay and I do need some help. And HR can help you to do that. Now, I know all HR people ain't like me, so I don't know what to tell you about that, but there's a lot of good people like me and other HR professionals that are out there that understand the delicate balance between you wanting to show up here and do a good job and be a good steward of the job that you've been given, but also being able to take care of yourself at the same time, because you're not good to the organization, to your family, to yourself, to anybody, if you can't focus to send out an email. If you can't get up and get to work on time, whether you're remote or physically there, because you're so stressed from the moment you open your eyes, you can't think clearly and make decisions and lead and do all of those different things. And so there's resources through your HR department. And I would go so far as to say, if you don't want to talk to your HR person, come DM me so I can tell you what to say. Because some of us are worried about being looked at as if we are not capable, or that, I don't want HR to think that, our job, we have a duty and an obligation to provide you with the resources to support you, not just as an employee, but as a human being, because none of these companies can work without us as people. And so being able to, utilize, like I said, that short-term disability, if you needed to take a leave of absence, there's not just regular FMLA, which is Family Medical Leave Act for those who don't know. There's the intermittent version as well. And I can speak for Illinois that one of the things that we have is VESA, right? And VESA is for those who are victims of like domestic abuse. And you don't have to be the direct person. If you're in a household, if your child is impacted, any of those things, the state of Illinois requires every size employer to allow you time to go get counseling. You know, and there's so many things that fall under domestic abuse. It's not just physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's financial, it's so many different things. So I know I'm talking a lot, but I just want people to know that there's a ton of resources that are out there, and we have access to them. So you can start with EAP. You can, you know, go directly to your HR department and ask what sort of leave options you have if you're at that point, because that's what they're there for.
Yes. And I don't think enough people know that it exists. You know what I mean? I don't know that jobs are very, employers are very clear, you know, about what all is available when you sign on the dotted line and say, I want to work here. We don't talk about all of those things. And if we do in the training, it's so quick, your head will spin because they don't want you to take off. Now they ain't really trying to, you know, you didn't come in here to not be here. Like that's what their mindsets can be sometimes. And so they need somebody to tell them, no, this is available to you. This is how you can utilize this. We want you to utilize this. And I think when people know that their mental health and their wholeness, wellness is valued, you'll keep them longer too. They'll stay employed with you if they know that they're valued where they're working.
That's true.
And your employer has made it clear that I want you well. We love what you do here, but if you're not well, then you know what I mean? We're going to lose you eventually anyway. And we don't want that, you know? And so I think that that's definitely one of those things that is necessary. So thank you for sharing, you know, that tidbit about that. You had said something a second ago and I almost stopped you. I should have, because now I don't remember. But you, I want to say that you were talking, I know it was on this last spiel. Maybe it'll come back to me, but I wonder how many people listening or that will watch the replay that will benefit from that piece, if nothing else, right? To be able to go to work tomorrow. This is an action step you can take tomorrow. Like this ain't something you gotta wait for. You don't need a meeting. You can call tomorrow and talk with somebody about what that looks like at your job site and what your employer offers, you know, for you. And if you can't figure it out, call Miss Nicole, DM her, get in her inbox, and she can teach you and show you what it is that you need to do to get that. Because she be on my head about it my own self. So making sure that I am taking care of my mental health.
Where that water bottle at? I ain't seen it in a couple minutes.
Come on.
She be on my head about making sure, you know, have you taken that leave, or have you talked about that leave, or have you this and that? And I'll be honest, I've been like, well, school almost out, so I'm about to have about a 6-week break anyway, you know. And so, but I know going into next school year, you know, as a school counselor, what that's going to look like for me. Like I need to make sure that those things are in place, because I am one of those people that struggle to get up in the morning because my mind is on go the minute my eyes open. And so I am like, oh, okay. I need a slow morning. I need to be able to get up, think about getting up. I need to be able to, and you know, just take my time, you know, getting myself together, and getting up any earlier than I already have to is really not an option. So we need to figure something else out. So, and so that's really, really helpful. we can wrap this up now. I know we've been on here an hour and 24 minutes. It don't feel like it to me, but we have.
Mhm.
I don't want to end this without mentioning Miss Francesca and her session about healing the inner child.
Mhm.
It was so good.
Ooh,
Yes.
yes, it was.
It was so
Yes, it
good.
was.
And the work that she's
Mhm.
doing in the Gary, Northwest Indiana area is
Good.
so profound. And I
Mhm.
feel like she could easily be an unsung hero
Yeah.
with all the
Absolutely.
work that they're doing there in Gary in the school systems. And I don't want her contribution to Nurture You Summit to go unspoken or, just, not be mentioned because she's not here with us. She's at church. And so we're going to make sure that she is, talked about as well. I really benefited from her session.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people don't recognize that they have an inner child. We have silenced her. We have let the world of maturity keep her bottled up. We have, all kinds of things. But for me, sit and think, when was I my most vibrant before somebody told me I was too loud?
Mhm.
It's a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
When was I my most vibrant self as a child before I was told that I was too loud and I talked too much and I should, I was getting unsatisfactory in the conduct area because I couldn't shut up. Like,
Yeah.
before I was getting that stuff on my report card, and all of us who had used in that department are probably speakers now in some kind of way. And so, who was I then?
Yeah.
And what did I want to do? And who did I want to become? And what did I see myself doing? And, all of those things
Yeah.
before somebody told me I was too much.
Mm-hmm.
And to those of you who are watching and listening now or later, I want you to consider that as a question to ask yourself. As you're nurturing yourself, as you're nurturing your mental health, what things can you recall? What was your personality like before everything changed for you? When you realized, oh, I got to grow up. Because some people, it wasn't that they were, talkers in school or somebody, shut them up in that way. But some people dealt with some things in their households that was like, I don't have time to be a kid. I have to grow up or I won't survive.
That's
I won't
good.
make it out of this if
Mhm.
I don't grow up fast. I have to deal with these things. I have to raise my siblings. I have to raise my parents. I have to raise my, whatever. I have to raise myself. And I don't have time to dream. I don't have time to think. I don't have time to, do any of those things. I want to encourage every listener to take a few minutes, even tonight before you go to bed, and just think, remember when you were your most vibrant self, even as a small child, and allow yourself to be her for a minute if it's safe for you. You know what I mean? Like, if that's safe for you to allow your mind to go back to that space, take a second and do that. And just write down what comes up. I used to want to be an astronaut, or I used to want to be a whatever it is that you wanted to be, write down what that looks like, and see, maybe even, does that bring me the same joy it did when I was 7? Does it bring me the same excitement on the inside as it did then? Does it do that to me now? And if it does, what types of things can I do on a regular basis to ignite that the little girl inside of me again? Like, what can I do today to feed her and let her know that I still see her, still acknowledge her, still know she's there? And there are things that you can do now to nurture that. I also want to mention, since we're talking about going back, and I said, if it's safe for you to do that. I also want to mention that if you begin to look back on your childhood and you go back to that young child and all that comes up for you is heartache and pain, and you don't remember when you had to dream. You don't remember a time where you could dream, or to think back and say, well, I dreamed until, this happened.
Yeah.
If that comes up for you, I encourage you to nurture yourself in that moment. You are an adult now. You've survived 100% of the things you've gone through up to this point. And you have the tools. Who better to have the tools to nurture your inner child but you?
That's good.
And if we can have just a few seconds for maybe Renelle or Nisi to speak to that piece. I want to give, I tried to give some practical tools there, but maybe y'all have any more insights.
That was good.
Okay.
Yep, good.
Okay, cool. I just want you guys to be safe in your reflection. I know that it can bring up so much sometimes when we think about our childhood and the things that we've experienced. And I want you to not feel like you got to run from your body because something came up. You know what I mean? I got to get out of this headspace because I can't. And then you go back to trying to just be this adult, but allow yourself a second to say, okay, yes, I recognize that something came up for me. And if it does, sis, I want you to understand that this is what we've been talking about this whole time. You might need to make that call to find you a therapist that you can express those things to, talk those things out. And the therapist will understand you saying, I don't really know exactly why I'm here, but I do know that I was listening to this live and they told me to think about being a kid and I couldn't. Like
that part.
Said, I should look for a therapist at this point. So I did, and I think that is something that is worth diving into. And therapists are safe people.
Yeah.
They're not scary monsters. They're safe people who want to be here for you, who love what they do, are qualified in their field. And if for any reason, y'all, you go to a therapist and you do not feel the things that I just mentioned, find you another.
Leave. Yes.
Wow.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
If that is not your match.
Seriously, I went to a therapist one time and the lady looked at me. She didn't have, she had no melanin. I'll just put it like that. Okay. And she said, I said, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do. She said, well, your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and wrap this up real quick.
I said, well, thank you, and you have a great day. She said, your guess is as good as mine. I said, well, that'll do it.
I've heard all I need to hear.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your honesty. That's exactly so thank you.
Wow.
Because what? And I just walked out. I said, she's fired. And I just left. Like, that's what I told the clerks at the front desk. She's fired. I can't do this. And I had to go find another therapist. Thankfully, I'm strong enough, and aware enough and all the things to know that that's not okay. Right. I just told somebody today, not your doctor Googling answers to questions in the doctor visit. You on Google while I'm sitting in front of you? Do that in your say, I'll be right back. Go do that.
No, that's wild. That's insane.
I can Google myself. When I come to your tour.
Right.
I witnessed it with my own two eyes about a week ago. I'm not kidding you. That doctor sat in our face and said, let me Google that. Excuse me?
Thank you.
So
I've heard all I needed to hear.
we're done here. Run along. Have a good day. So yes, you have the rights, privileges, and responsibilities to tell that person, I do not want to do this anymore, and I am respectfully going to go and find another therapist. We prefer that you definitely have that conversation, but can I say that you don't have to say that either? Like, you just don't have to come back. Like, if
You gotta listen, this
Right.
isn't working for me, and you decide to go a different way.
Right.
Yeah.
and that's okay. That is perfectly okay. So I hope that tonight's conversation, we really just went with the flow tonight, with how, and it flowed just as Miss Nicole said it would. Got on here to just really give all the pieces that we could give in this conversation about the Nurture You Summit, the recap, and leaving our listeners with some tools to be able to go do tomorrow when they get to work. We have Elijah is going to be coming out here soon with worship nights.
I was gonna
Yep.
say what I'm about to do.
We're going to bring that back to the front.
Yep. The Trip Nights experience. It's not a one-time deal. It's going to be an
Come on.
experience. And then Miss Monique, you have to come up with them Tulsa dates.
Look,
So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know we got graduation. We said that May is December in a tank top, right? So we gonna let you get through this. We know, but it's coming. We need to get them dates together. We gonna hold you accountable like we do with that water.
Come on.
I need it. I need it. I need it. I promise y'all I need it. Y'all gonna come. If I plan it, y'all gotta come now. Cause
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
y'all gotta come if we gonna do it now. Because we just I don't know. I'm gonna pray, and see if there's any locals. I got one in my mind that I would like to bring on, but that's a therapist here. She was my supervisor and she's incredible. So why wouldn't I have her on here? But I am so cool with y'all.
I know real music therapists there too, so that would be really cool.
Yes. That would be
Yeah.
great. Like, I just want to see the experience continue across the world if we can. You know what I mean? And if we can, with whatever city we go to, with each city that we get to experience, if we can bring somebody in from that, space, that would be great too. But I think we got something good going here. Like, we have such a good rapport and just a good vibe, and the Lord has breathed right on us also. And so I want to why don't fix it if it ain't broke, ain't that what they say?
Come on.
Yes.
So we want to be able to do this. We did have a few comments. People were just saying they love this so much. We had a couple of ouches in here. Somebody said, Miss Nicole, I still think about what you shared with me and the prayer. Thank you so much.
Oh.
So the people have been blessed by y'all, man. Thank you so much, y'all, for saying yes to Nurture You.
Thank you for the push.
Yes. Thank you for the invite.
For sure.
Yes.
I want y'all at everything that I'm getting ready to do next. So come on. It's time to ride. Thank you guys so much that are listening. We appreciate you guys for hanging in with us for almost 2 hours. We have been on here. Thank y'all so much. Somebody said, listen, I need a whole capacity coach. Well,
Her books are open. Her books are open.
there she is.
NicoleRoan.com.
Go check her out. Get into her DMs, whatever you need to
Right.
do. Book her because she's great. And I have utilized her services already several times. So definitely check her out. And if you don't need to see her on a weekly basis, maybe a monthly basis, a bi-monthly basis, or whatever, every 6 months, she gonna check in on you though.
Look, first and foremost, I have a free check-in. I have a whole free check-in because I believe in it being a fit, right? Let's make sure that if I can't give you what you need, I know people like y'all, right? You surround yourself with great people, but let's check in and see what's going on. If I can help you, that's what I'm here for, right? And it flows through those couple of pillars that I have, you know, whether it's work or it's family, if it's, you know, you trying to deal with things that are going on in your finances, clear mental clutter, all of the stuff. Like, that's what we're here for. So I'm happy to just send me a message and I'm happy to talk through.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Thank
Same
you.
thing with Anicia. I don't know if you still got a waiting list because she's great. Because she's awesome.
did.
That's why she got a waiting list.
And are you available for Illinois residents like myself?
I am not.
She said, boo.
I will work on that. But see, you're different.
Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick up what she put down.
Okay.
Pick it up.
You got different favor. Okay.
Amen. I received that. Yes, ma'am.
Amen.
That's it.
Amen.
Sounds like she's making room. That's
Mm-hmm.
what it sounds like.
Huh?
Sounds like she's making room.
That capacity is different.
For real.
You're making me blush. Stop. I'm too light skinned for this.
Somebody said, come to Indianapolis, please. So we got a request, a city request to head on down to Indianapolis.
Putting it on the list.
Jesus. Oh, somebody requested a retreat in the feedback cards.
That would be
So me
nice.
and Lay have talked about that. Somebody said one day is not enough. We need to spread this out over a few days.
Nurture you
I'm
intensive.
going to scare you, but that's been my thought since day one, because one day, it was great. It was amazing, right? But even when you think about, if God willing, you invite all of us back to continue to be part of it, there's so much that we didn't touch on. It's so hard to unpack all of this stuff in one day. Right. So multiple days, you know, incorporating the retreat part, we could listen. Expansion.
Right.
We gonna increase your capacity to increase the length of this summit.
Come on.
Yeah.
I agree.
Don't scratch your head. It's okay.
Okay. All right. But you know something, and I promise y'all, we're gonna let y'all go here in just a few. This is what happens when sisters get together, though. This is what happens. When we talk about what I wanted to do in my childhood, this is it.
Oh, wow.
This is it. I had a friend at the summit, and I'm trying not to get teary right now. This is okay. All right. So my somebody said, stop it. I was going to send you the info about the retreat location. Well, here we go.
There you go.
Here we go. So somebody at the event, my friend of over 25 years, probably 30 years now, was at the event, and she came up to me during the event. She said, you know, this is powerful, this is great, but I just want to say, you're literally sitting in the dreams you've had since you were a child.
Oh.
And I was just like, great. Now I'm a puddle. Like, you know, because this is literally what I've been wanting to do since forever. Wow. So to have somebody like Elijah who will say, I will partner with you to let's do this. Like, let's get it done. I appreciate that. And all of you to say, we will do whatever you need us to do. Just tell us what you need. And now that, and you said that before you experienced it, and now that you've experienced it, you know, many of you have said even since then, like, I am not, you can't easily forget what happened in that room. Like,
Right.
so
Mm-hmm.
if we're going to create this over and over and over again, duplicate this situation, but make it better each time, and seek the new anointing that's needed for whatever space we're going into, sign me up. Right. And I appreciate that, you know, from you guys. I really do. It means so much. And I'm saying this now just because it was the vision that God gave me, but me and Elijah are in fact doing this together. Like, I want to be clear that yes, I might be the visionary, but we have done this together. It's not just the Mo show. This is like we doing this. And I am just honored, you know, to be, my body is like shaking on the inside because I feel just like, oh my gosh, that this is a thing, that it happened. People still want it. I was even concerned with the length of time it took us to get this together. Like, people gonna be lost. Nobody may think about it no more. Like, it's over with. Like, it's behind us now. And now here we are, and people in the comments talking about a retreat. So, you know, bring it to their city. So, I mean, clearly it's a thing that is still needed, is still wanted, is still desired. Ask everybody to just continue to pray over, nurture you. Pray over, nurture you as we continue to move forward and what this looks like. I don't want to be anywhere the presence of God is not.
Come on.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything where he is not welcomed. I don't want to
Not
be in any
interested.
spaces. Not interested. Because if he ain't there, darkness is, and I ain't got time for that. I ain't just gonna walk into it and just be set up shop there, you know.
But I say this
And that's
isn't working for me.
That's my deal breaker.
Right.
So but there is a mandate, I believe, on Nurture You that is light. And I do mean that in both senses of the word. It is a light to bring into dark spaces, and not just to expose, to say you should have, no, but to bring light to spaces so that people can be healed. Like, we shine the light on the stuff that you didn't want to talk about or look at no more, so that you can really live the life that God intended for you to live. And I think in safe spaces, anything can happen. Right. And so I want to again, thank you guys so much. I didn't say the other light. The other light is that it's not heavy. This is not heavy to me. It doesn't feel like a burden. I think the great Felicia Rashad said it a few weeks ago, light is not heavy. I say, you know what, you show right. And so I think that it's not heavy. It's not a burden to me to do this, but I have a burden from the Lord, you know, to do it. And his burden is easy. You know, his yoke is easy. His burden is light. And when I have you guys alongside this, it definitely helps to lift the burden and make it a lot easier, because we're all carrying it together. And I'm thankful that you guys are invested in it. It's not like y'all just became a part and, oh, you know, like, y'all have invested into Nurture You. Like, y'all's hearts are for it. And I'm very thankful. Miss Robin said every segment was relatable. You all are the truth. Life-changing event, and I'm not biased. I have heard testimonies from people unrelated to the co-hosts. So what can you do with that? Let's say to God be the glory for the things he has done. And that somebody said we pulled it off, a God-filled, professional, life-changing, sold out summit. We didn't even talk about the sold out. We're not going there tonight. You're not finna mess with my head tonight. Sold out summit is not a small feat. It's not. And so we are thankful that the Lord filled them chairs up in a room that was offered to us, decorated intentionally by somebody who is also just invested in what God's doing in us, didn't ask for one thing. Didn't ask for one thing to make sure that that room felt inviting. Y'all were on that call that I had with y'all. I just wanted to feel good. I wanted to feel right. I didn't know what that meant, but she picked up the vision and executed it so well. So thank you to Sister Sharon. Thank you so much for that. Candace with the food, thank you so much for that. Each speaker, each sponsor, each donor, each person that gave $1, we say thank you so very much for your generosity, your liberality, and your ability to see us and see that this is God. Yeah. I want to pray, and I will probably be reaching out to y'all here soon because I ain't planning this by myself. Amen. Amen.
Amen. It's on the list.
Amen.
On the list.
We're going to have a call because we got to talk about this.
Ask Elijah about that list.
I need it. I need it. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Anicia. Thank you, Miss Francesca, whenever you see this. Thank you, Renelle. Thank you, Elijah. Thank y'all for this. Thank y'all so much. We're gonna pray, and then we're gonna jump off of here and let y'all get back to y'all's families, because all of y'all got people, and I know they hungry and sleepy, and it's 9:00. Okay. Father, we thank you so much. We love you. We honor you. We are grateful for this time tonight that you allowed us to be here. I pray, Lord, that you would allow the pieces that needed to reach every listener. I pray tonight, God, that you would let the people catching the replay even just have the fortitude to get through an hour and 51 minutes so that they can grab what it is that they need to grab for themselves to take on and do what they need to do to be better, to walk in your divine purpose, to walk in the reason you made them. God, somebody once said that, the two most important days in our lives is the day that we was born and the day that we discover why. And so, Father, I pray that even through this conversation, that people will go to therapy, people will find out talk to their HR, talk about their EAP, all those resources as they begin to look inside and remember when they were their purest self. And when you had given them the gifts and they were excited about them before anything took it away. I pray, Lord, that they discover their why in the midst of all of that. You can reveal your purpose and plan for them in the midst of all of that. God, we are so thankful for Nurture You. We are so thankful for the first summit. We are thankful for what you have in store for us as we go forward. We ask tonight, God, specifically, tonight that you would bless every one of these women, Miss Francesca as well. Would you bless them abundantly? Would you shine on their businesses? Would you shine on their marriages? Would you shine on their children? God, would you shine on their next steps? Would you just shine light on everything that they put their hands to do in this season? Father, I pray against the hand of the enemy now, and I say that he has no power and no authority, and that they are walking under the authority of Jesus Christ, the resurrection power that you've given to us. God, we walk in that strength, in that anointing. God, I pray against every mindset that would try to exalt itself above the knowledge of who you are. And we take it captive, every thought captive, and we make it obey, God, what it is that you said about us, to us in your word. God, I pray For every listener that's here tonight, God, and those that will watch the replay, would you shine on them as well? Remind them that they don't have to walk alone. Surely goodness and mercy will follow them all the days of their life. And they can dwell in the house of the Lord and inquire in your temple. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever and ever. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I love y'all.
We love you too.
Love y'all too.
Love y'all.
Love y'all so
let me
much.
try to make my
Thank
heart.
y'all for watching.
We're all family now.
Hey.
I tell Monique, and I probably told each of you, y'all can't get rid of me now. So
No.
sorry, not sorry.
Right.
I love it.
Hey, we love it. We love it. We love it.
I do
We love
too.
y'all. Thank y'all for tuning into our private conversation, because that's really what happened.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We just let y'all in on how we be talking to each other. And so we'll talk to you guys soon, and be sure to let y'all know when the next thing is coming. All right. Have a great evening.